All right, good morning. I am live. This is Dr. Mia Lueth, and it is 9:13 9:13 a.m. and 9/13/2025, which is September 13th, 2025. So we just hit yes, a singularity. So I do these oftentimes for a lot of different reasons because I will quite literally just roam through all kinds of YouTube for sure. And some of the things I run into, there may be, yes, issues for a while, but the point of it is they don't stay issues forever. Right? But there are some people who need to really understand that, I mean, if you're putting pressure on me or you're doing things right that are causing me significant issue, then I'm, yes, searching around for the kind of lawyers that would eat their grandmas for breakfast. Right. Some of my intellectual property situations, you know, they got the warning. It's like, oh, you don't do this to me or anyone else again. Right. But some, right. But anyway, so it's gonna get taken care of one way or the other. Nobody's getting away with anything. Right. So I do takes, and some people may not realize it. Also, when I'm repeating information, you understand? Yeah, I will do some of it because I was looking through the years now of me on this video, this vlogging, whatever, because it's pretty much my artistic platform. So it's just like, okay, YouTube, but don't give me too much of a hard time, okay? Because like we're gonna make history here together, which we already have. Just people don't know that yet. That's why it's called history. Anyway, so yes, Creasesinger Radio is meant for all things musical. Okay, I don't have a lot of time in the day, but I do have, I can make a little time in the in between moments. So yes, I'm highly efficient, but I don't, cut corners because that never works out. And in the end, you gotta pay dearly for it. The other thing is, yeah, my eyes, they look right, but there's nothing I can do about it. And yeah, one of them is a little, yeah, I'm a little cockeyed. Yeah, I know. Right, I had an orbital bone injury a while back. So, yeah. Uh, well, there's some things I'm not going to complain about when it comes to dudes. I mean, I had no choice but to play soccer with males or European football with males, right? But none of them, I mean, there were some of them pretty skeptical when I showed up for tryouts. Trust me. You can just, I know how to read a room, a field, a person. Some people makes you feel naked. You don't like it. But okay, there's some things that are absolutely real and true. But, you know, some of my interests in metaphysics and parapsychology is uh, psychokinetic activity and telepathy, and there is a way to see that through a biblical lens. Okay, and what I'm saying is, I understand why some people are just adamantly, very, very adamantly, you know, absolutely opposed to certain things, but it's those, okay, you really want to listen to and pay attention to. Anyway, so some people understand. As you grow older, you realize, well, I'm an outlier in a lot of circumstances. And when it came to the National Hockey League, right? Well, because of the half year, what do you call it, lockout, I became much more familiar with the differences in rules from college American football and American pro football. And I learned more just about the game. I was hanging around JB, and like, I only had one channel, so I figured, well, I like sports. A lot of these hockey doofuses are not considering the fans and sponsors and all this other crap. Anyway, but at the very least, the National Hockey League does have the balls to dig around. And yep, we hockey shunt people. Like, they're shunted. Yep, you're done. You're disowned. Get out. No more press, no more nothing. No more name on the Stanley Cup. Give us back the hardware. No, we're never going to talk about you again. You're just going to go away now into obscurity. You don't get to be hockey famous at all. Right. But they're willing to look around and, realize, all right, well, just really thinking straight. Now that we've realized how dangerous that is, we should really jump on that. Yeah, but the National Hockey League was one of the first leagues, right, to operate in the United States of America that had a requirement that every franchise have a quiet room for concussions, and they're still being studied. So, I mean, I know I've had concussions, but I also know through a battery of tests that any kind of brain fog I've had doesn't come from that. I mean, I don't have long lasting issues. Uh, but anyone who's doing anything that's even, semi athletic, or you're moving around a lot, or you work somewhere, or you can bump your head or whatever, just be aware that if you start feeling nauseous, you got to stop what you're doing. And coaches, if you need to be assholes about it, just be assholes about it. Okay? I'm saying with some of the refs and the stripes. Most of them wear stripes. Refs, referees, and all that. Yeah. Even what umpires do too, don't they? Anyway, so yeah, I love sports. So I will, listen. I used to listen to Sports Center, and but I always do this like really sort of like hungry learning time, and so I spend a lot of time listening to dudes of sports, and I still do. But everybody who's ever come anywhere near me at this point would know, yes, I'm an ice hockey lifer. And not being able to watch games, or right, I mean, I budgeted that in. I had to have digital cable to get the NHL Center Ice. And all I know is I got it the year that uh, um, Jeremy Roenick and his housemate, who's still, yeah. But anyway, I got it where the commercials, and that's what they had. So it's gotten much better since its inception. And they even let you see some commercials that you wouldn't have been able to see before. So you get to see local commercials sometimes, which is interesting. I mean, right, and how communities are and blah blah blah. So I, I've spent a long time studying the National Hockey League. And in that, there's some, associated and affiliated things. And I'm still learning. And so I, I mean, I already know all about how the Washington Capitals became and so on and so forth. And also, yeah, the Blue Jackets, uh, because they came in the league, I was already, you know, so hockey nerdy. I, I lost friends and I didn't care. Like, all right, everybody. That's so, like, as a hockey spectator, I can just say this: I don't give a shit. I turn my fucking phone off, man, because screw ya. If it's an emergency, it's like, oh well, I guess I missed the emergency. What? Like, I'm so present when I'm especially watching an ice hockey game, and particular when I see it live, that like I can look at that ice and just know where the puck's going to go to. And it's possible for goalies to do that, and there's ways to train that in. So that's just that part, and it's an educational part because I am an educator and I have played multiple sports. Although my two best were soccer and swimming, but for ice hockey people, particularly goalies, everybody learn how to swim for one thing. You could save a life or your own, you know. But also, uh, it's it's so good for breath work, athletic breath work. Okay, and there's this pocket of air. So I suggest freestyle or what they call crawl first. Right. So anyway, that's helpful for some kids and other people. Understand physiology and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And the flags there, or if you're doing backstroke, right? So you can count your. That's what you're supposed to do in warm ups. Count your strides. Mine's usually about 6. Yeah, because I start using, and I'll tell you why. I start using the energy that I saved while I was coming back down from the other end, because there is a way to sleep your, I don't know how to explain it, sleep your backstroke. So you're more uh, efficiently using your legs and your arms to propel you forward. And so you'll see some of them bounce. Right. Well, that is uh, kind of a way to know that that's what they're doing. Like, that's how you can see it. They get this little bounce. Okay, you don't want them going up and down like sea waves. That's a waste of energy. Like, where are you going? What are you doing? Yeah, you're getting to the end of the line really quick. If everybody's kicking your ass, so right, but you want little consistent little bobs, boom, boom, because you lift up a little when you're on the back end of your stroke. Yeah. Anyway, uh, for goalies of any kind, but I just talk to ice hockey people, even if they're not even listening, man. They could eventually get hurt. I know that. Yeah. So anyway, that's something that this is something I needed to explain a little bit that I might put in my documentary. So I'm also doing takes, and by short bursts at this point, it's more like, yeah, 20 minutes or less, and I get down to 15 because I'm sort of refining the process and I know what to repeat. So this is, uh, if something on my channel is designated as educational, I have the qualifications to say that's what it is. And you can use this material, any of it, for educational purposes. Okay. You just need to make sure I'm accredited in some way. And uh, don't change the meeting. So make sure you've got at least 3 people who agree that the meeting has not changed. Right? And then you can have it. Open the box, and it is like there are people who know what I'm talking about, or they're starting to pick up on it, and there is information online. I think it's on the Wayback Machine too. There's another archive, and I forget what it's called. So just know that not you have to get multiple perspectives. And anybody who claims to be a psychologist, right? I'm not going to trust the damn thing you do trying to, oh, you're trying to give me therapy. Okay, well, anybody who's familiar with the full general study of human psychology, I'm also a studier, right, of animal behavior in that. And there's a way that humans and animals interact. Just like there's a way to find some positions of, maybe some liaisons who have psychology degrees and who have taken some criminal justice courses who can help calm everybody down, every party, right? Yes, it can happen. And I still like, why can't tranquilizer darts be using people instead of like deadly force? From afar, you know. Well, you get a little EpiPen thing. Oh, allergies. Great. You know how rare that is? And well, then, if you have one of those and you're required to carry an EpiPen, oh, sorry. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I'm doing takes as I go, just because. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of reasons, but this is going slowly because I don't really have the right kind of software I need or equipment. But moreover, I have to watch my footage in chunks because it's like I get tired of looking at me. Yeah, and so, like I said, this light blinking, yes, I know what it is. It has to do with the air conditioner, and right when the air conditioner is powering up to, like, it turns off, and so it's got a little bit of electrical upcharge to start it up again, and this light is sensitive to it. So not supernatural or paranormal behavior. But people need to understand, right? There should be more like paranormal parapsychology in the United States of America, like accredited programs. And you'd have to understand certain things about physics for sure. You'd have to understand certain things about psychology for sure. You'd have to know certain things about uh, animals, every kind on earth, right? You have to know a certain amount about photography and electromagnetic things. But yeah, telepathy can be proven. You do. I mean, scientifically, okay? So people who don't, scour through scientific stuff like some of the rest of us do, right? Just, I, I need my fellow North American United States legal citizens, including territories, to settle the fuck down, and some of this shit needs to go away. Everybody on planet Earth is told a lie. You want to know why? Because we hear things, you understand, and we repeat them, or we tell people, no, this is what it is. Well, it could be total false information. and therefore you've lied. But, okay, in Scripture and Holy Bible, yeah, they're lying. Okay, what that truly means in the bigger picture, in the correct interpretation, is being deceitful on purpose. Okay, so people repeat things, and there's even scientists for sure. 20 years ago, blah blah blah, and then new evidence comes like, oh, okay, we need to consider this. And any good scientist would just concede that information wasn't available, and we made a short-sighted assumption. We'll also retract some things, right? So for some of us, anger is not natural to us, right? And yeah, I know my eyes is just get used to it. Yeah, a little tiny. I mean, I've had, yeah, and plus I like mine was well. Oh, if I've cried for a little while, everybody knows. Even if I stop, because I get these I get the puffy eye. I mentioned new music because I was saying about Creasesinger. It's a radio. This is Creasesinger radio, but I this is not Creasesinger radio because I do not use the hashtag Creasesinger radio. But for anybody who loves music, like guitar stuff, anything that is related to music, if you put it on at the very least X, formerly Twitter, uh, and hashtag it, then a collection of all things music starts happening. Okay? See, that thing just turned on the light. It has to do with my air conditioning. So that's not paranormal anything. Right? Right. So that's what I'm saying. So if somebody put a single, I want to say tweet stream, but tweet X stream under Christian radio, you would have a huge amount of things. You just keep going through the right. And so if people want to contribute anything, just put the hashtag Creasing Radio. Right? Well, I don't make money off of this either. And there is one that's like, oh yeah, what I'm gonna have to go through for that, I charged you enough to buy the first reasonable offered, reasonably offered National Hockey League franchise. That's how much it's gonna cost. Whatever that might be. Available hockey player. Alright? Yeah, that's what it's gonna cost you. So this is educational. You can take snippets, you can edit it. Well, some of you, if you want to make weird names, go ahead. And yes, I know the weirdos, right? Yes, I know. I'm on Team Weirdo. I get it, left-handed path. All right, just some of you very kept in the dark about some things. So hold up. I know I have double chin, but I know if you suck your, you know, it's a little less when you put your. I know I learned tricks, but I'm learning really quickly how to diva. I know, but there's Elton John and there's like others, right? But especially Adam Lambert. Like, wow. All right. Well, yeah, my proximity alarm went off, and also I could hear a faint distress signal while mine was going off. So yeah, that one needed more help than me, but now, right, that's my distress signal going off. So some people may know what I'm talking about. It might become known, and if you don't, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Right, you don't really need to know. So I need equipment. I was gathering equipment, but then I got put out on the street again because, people are going to pay for all of that. I mean, I'm not a materialistic person, but the penalties and consequences are getting worse and worse. So, yeah, I'm trying to tell you, hey, stop. Because that's not what we're doing. This is a win-win situation, and all you need to do is stop. Now, you guys don't want to fuck around. Yeah, so I like to research certain things because I've experienced some things myself, and I know for sure because I went through all that. Like, it's not this, it's not that. There's no way it could have been this. So I've seen a full spectrum orb. I'm not assure you the light didn't work. Okay. And there were no mirrors or any other kind of thing, and there was no window. So I've gone over 26 minutes, so I'm gonna stop. Okay, but I know that's what it was. In my bathroom, about the size of a golf ball, and the part of it was opaque, and then what was around it was transparent. So, yeah, I don't want the angry ones anywhere near me, but you go ahead and stick the angry ones on. Let them loose. Get it all out of their system. There's healthy ways to cope with things, and then there's unhealthy ways to cope with things. And some of you don't even realize that you utilize coping skills. Okay, and some of you should be, and you're not. But to all the little human children around the world, everywhere they are, right? Okay, right out the gate, help them explore themselves and know who they are and know that. All right, and collectively, trust me when I tell you. All right, that brings you up to a positive, right? But some, right? Hey, you know, one knows. I'm not gonna say your name out loud. I know what people do. Really, none of your business to be doing that either. Exorcisms. Some of them, that's not what you're doing. Right. I get it. We got to drain the swamp over in DC. We got to drain the swamp that is the church on earth. Holy moly. And, well, unfortunately, hi there, rock and rollers. I've been rocking and rolling since 1973. And I'm getting tired of you guys fucking yourselves all up and promoting that everyone else fuck themselves all up. So, yeah, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is going through with a fine tooth comb. So we can tell the kids, no, don't do what they did, kids. That's why my kids don't get it. I started smoking cigarettes when I was really young, and I'm not one of the cool kids. The cool kids don't smoke cigarettes. Okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, open the box stuff. Then you can do stuff for fun. Like you can take a sentence, as I said, out of context, and like start writing some shitty ass story, whatever, or sing a song about it, or like have a crowd like scream shit out, or whatever. That is my personal intellectual property, and I got so much proof of that it's insane. So Imagine my surprise when I was reading Mr. Ted Leonsis' sorry, uh, 30 minutes. All right, I gotta stop. Um, blog over there in their Washington, formerly known as Washington Crackles. Uh, and there was this whole thing about this group that was trying to form and actually had, but like, that's not your intellectual property. I know how much it's worth. So, some entertainment lawyers. Oh, you should start pro bono, and then at a certain point you'll be able to set your salary. You can also make sure all of your fees are included in the monetary court winnings that I will receive because that one's already in the bag. Dad. So I need more clear signs and right. I knew that in one case there was something to do with a bow and arrow, right? And I've been hitting on that since 2012. But we can uncreate it, and no one will remember. You understand? It can be reborn. All right. So I have to stop, but there are some things, right? People ask me questions telepathically sometimes, and unfortunately, right, if I have a higher priority, I do the higher priority. Yeah. Well, a lot of times shit rolls downhill, as some people say. But yeah, well, you can also roll shit uphill like dung beetles. Speaking of beetles, thank you for the gift. Seth, right. Uh, I need, yes, some actual real physical in the flesh assistance here. Today, please. All right. So I'm aware of certain things. Some have followed my direction and pointed to a certain part of their body as I'm walking, so I know where something is. But I will be making a nice little private video for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, for sure. And I will be continuing to try and alert the actual official management or whatever of the air quote celebrities who apparently are talking to me. However, many of them are fitting the profile FBI of, yeah, right. So it is actually a matter of national security too, because now y'all gotta consider the internet. Now I know where the internet emanated, and so we need to talk. So yes, I am. Well, you get what you get. I'm always like cockeyed on this. I don't know, it might be when bending because I gotta bend. I just I can't put off having a new hip, and because of certain things, my knees are also twisting in. Right, it's just a lot of surgery, and they're gonna draw it out, and they're not gonna like this. We need medical assistance for people who are used to cities, but are willing to slow down the pace a little because they need to pick up the pace here, especially the hospital. We need help right away. Okay, they need to learn how to pick up the pace. They right. This needs so we need help. All right. So if you're retired or you want to live more out in the country and you've already paid off everything and you don't really need a high salary, come out to the country and help us out, please. All right. Aloha.